Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive. Today we're tackling something I find super interesting, igloos. We've got these articles and notes about igloos in Minecraft A&D real life. And I gotta ask, can a video game teach us something about real world ingenuity? I'm ready to find out.
Yeah. It's pretty cool how we can look at igloos from these two, totally different perspectives, right? So we're going to be connecting your virtual adventures
Yeah.
in Minecraft with the practical knowledge of the Inuit people who actually build these
Okay,
things.
so you mentioned you're particularly interested in those igloos in Minecraft,
Mhm.
the ones with secret basements. What's so cool about that hidden element? You know what I
Well,
mean?
just imagine, right? You're exploring this snowy landscape in the game,
Yeah.
and you come across this totally unassuming structure,
Right.
and it's not until you actually break through the snow that
Right.
you realize there's a whole hidden level underneath.
No, it's so
Oh, like the game is rewarding you
Ah,
for being curious.
totally. Yeah, it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, and it encourages you to explore more.
And don't forget, remember when igloos were first added to Minecraft
Oh, yeah.
back in February 2016
Yeah,
as
yeah.
part of the combat update?
Mm-hmm.
It was like this brand new feature.
Right. Along with elytras and
Oh, yeah.
and cities.
That was such a big update.
It was a big one.
It was like a whole new world opened up, or a
Yeah.
whole new dimension, really,
Yeah, totally.
in the game.
Exactly. And one thing that's really cool is that not every igloo actually has a basement, right?
Oh, that's true.
So it adds this element of surprise.
It really does.
It gives you a reason to check each one you find.
Every single one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, will this one have a secret or not? And when you do find a basement,
Oh, yeah.
it's like you've struck gold.
Yeah.
Usually, there's a brewing stand with a potion of weakness
Ah.
and a chest.
Yeah. Always a chest.
Always a chest.
Yeah.
And then there's the trapped villager
Yeah.
and a zombie villager
Yeah.
down there,
Always.
which is pretty cool.
That's strategic,
So, yeah.
to give players kind of a head start, right?
Yeah.
It encourages them to go further, take on more challenges.
What about that zombie villager, though? Have you ever tried curing one?
Oh, it's a good challenge, isn't it?
I've never actually done it.
It's tough. You need the splash potion of weakness.
Yeah.
Right. And a golden apple.
Yeah, you need both.
It's like a little mini side quest.
Oh, it is. Within the larger game.
It's a whole layer of problem solving and strategy, right?
For sure.
Minecraft isn't just about building and fighting.
Yeah.
You got to think creatively to survive and
Yeah.
thrive
I like.
in that world.
Okay, so we've explored the Minecraft side, full of surprises
Yeah.
and challenges. But let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Talk about real-world igloos. I was surprised to learn that the word igloo, it can actually refer to any snow house, really,
That's right.
or shelter
Any kind of snow house.
built by the Inuit people.
Yeah, and it's amazing how effective they are at providing warmth. A well-constructed igloo can actually maintain an interior temperature as high as 16 degrees C,
Blades.
even when it's minus 45 degrees C outside.
16 degrees.
Yeah.
That's warmer than I keep my house in the winter.
It's pretty impressive.
How is that even possible? When we're talking about a house made of snow?
It's all about insulation.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like a down jacket, right?
Mhm.
The densely packed snow traps these tiny air pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And those pockets act like a barrier, They
Yeah.
slow down the transfer of heat
Oh, okay.
from the warm interior
That's
to
a-
that cold exterior.
So they basically hacked the properties of ice
Yeah,
to create their own climate-controlled environment.
they figured it out.
That's so smart. But were igloos like the standard house for all Inuit people?
That's a common misconception, actually. Yeah. While igloos are definitely associated with the Inuit, they were primarily used by communities in certain regions, like Canada's Central Arctic and
Yeah.
parts of Greenland.
Gotcha.
But other Inuit groups, especially those along the coast, they relied more on materials like whalebone and hides, right? They'd mostly use snow for insulation.
Oh, that makes sense.
Ah.
So even within one culture,
Yeah.
there's variations based on
But
what's available.
geography, resources.
Totally.
Yeah,
It shows how adaptable the Inuit people were, right?
for sure.
Using what they had
Absolutely.
to thrive
Yeah.
in such a challenging environment.
Uh-huh.
So let's talk about those classic igloo structures.
Yeah.
What kinds were there? How did they use them?
Well, they essentially had 3 sizes of igloos,
Okay.
each with a different purpose, right?
Yeah.
They had small, temporary ones for hunting trips,
Yeah.
Just enough space for 1 or 2 people. Stay warm for a night or two.
Awesome.
And then you had medium-sized igloos. These served as like semi-permanent family dwellings.
Okay.
These were often grouped together, right,
Oh.
to form small communities.
Okay.
And then there were the large multifamily igloos.
Wow.
These could house up to 20 people.
No way. A whole community living
Yeah.
under one roof of snow.
Exactly.
But how do they build these things? I mean, stacking blocks of snow doesn't exactly scream structural stability to me.
Well, it's more complex than you might think.
Okay.
Building a solid igloo takes like a deep understanding of snow types
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of skill, right? It starts with cutting large blocks of compacted snow. They would use saws.
Okay.
Then these blocks are stacked in a spiral,
Yeah.
gradually leaning inward to create that classic dome shape.
Okay, so the weight of each block
Uh,
is being supported by the blocks around it.
Exactly.
But what kind of snow do they use? I'm imagining if it was too powdery or too icy,
Yeah, you're right.
the whole thing would just collapse,
Absolutely.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. They had to carefully select snow that was like compacted just right.
Okay.
Not too powdery, not too icy. And here's where it gets interesting.
Good.
After the igloo was built, they'd sometimes light a small fire inside.
Inside.
Yeah. To melt the inner layer of snow slightly.
Oh, wow.
As the fire died down, that melted snow would refreeze,
Yeah.
creating this like smooth ice-like layer
Okay.
that made the igloo even stronger and more wind resistant.
So they were intentionally manipulating like
Yep.
the properties of the ice
Yeah.
to reinforce their shelter.
They had to.
It sounds like they had such a deep understanding of how to work with the environment, right?
It's true.
Not just surviving.
He worked with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back.
It's just amazing to think about,
Yeah.
the ingenuity of the Inuit people,
Uh-huh.
how they took a simple material like snow
Yeah.
and created such effective shelters.
It's pretty remarkable.
But what was it actually like to live in an igloo? It sounds cozy and all,
Right.
but there must have been some challenges.
Oh, for sure. It wasn't just about, snuggling up in furs.
Right.
One of the biggest challenges was ventilation.
Really?
Yeah.
Because wouldn't the whole point of an igloo be to keep all the cold air out?
Yeah, but think about it. Since igloos are so well insulated,
Right.
they had to figure out a way to make sure that fresh air could still circulate inside.
Oh,
Otherwise, it would be like living in a sealed container.
that's true. How do they manage that?
Well, igloos were usually designed with a small opening near the top,
Okay.
kind of like a chimney.
Okay.
It allowed fresh air to come in
Oh.
and stale air, smoke from cooking, all that stuff to escape.
So it was like an early version of an HVAC system.
Pretty much.
I never thought of it like that. What about other stuff, though? Like, how did they cook their food?
Well, for cooking, they used a special lamp called a qualic.
Okay.
It was fueled by seal oil.
Seal oil.
Yeah. And it provided heat
Okay.
and a way to...
Wow, all in one.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that these lamps, they burned really cleanly,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Minimal smoke, which was important in a small enclosed space.
Makes sense, yeah.
Definitely.
So they had their heat and light, and they could cook.
Uh-huh.
What about sleeping? Did everyone just pile together on the floor?
No, not exactly. Families would sleep on raised platforms
Okay.
made of snow or ice,
Wow.
covered with furs and hides for warmth, of course.
Of course.
Not only did these platforms keep them off the cold ground,
Yeah.
but they also kind of helped to separate the sleeping area
Oh.
from the main living space.
Okay.
It created more privacy and organization.
It's like they really maximized their space, right?
They had to.
Mhm.
But living in such close quarters, even with family,
Yeah.
it must have, presented its own social dynamics.
Right. Especially during those long, dark winters.
Exactly. And Inuit culture, it places a huge emphasis on cooperation
Mhm.
and community. Living in an igloo meant everyone had to work together, share resources.
Yeah, you couldn't just slam the door and go to your room if
Exactly.
you were mad at somebody.
Not really an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah, it forced people to rely on each other,
Yeah.
build those strong bonds.
How long could a family actually live in an igloo, though, before it, started to fall apart?
Well, the lifespan of an igloo really depended on a lot of things.
Yeah.
The weather, the quality of the snow.
Yeah.
But on average, a well-built igloo could last for several months.
Okay.
It wasn't really meant to be a permanent dwelling,
Makes sense.
especially for families who had a nomadic lifestyle,
Right, yeah.
moving around with the seasons.
Okay. let's go back to Minecraft for a sec.
Okay.
We talked about the loot and the zombie villager challenge.
Right.
But are there other ways that players use igloos in the game?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Players can get really creative, you know?
Yeah?
Some use them as starter bases.
Okay.
When they first enter a new world. They take advantage of the shelter and the resources, right?
Right.
Get a foothold before
Cool.
venturing out.
That's smart.
Others transform them into elaborate farms, you know?
Really?
Yeah, they use the trapped villagers for trading or breeding.
I love how these virtual igloos are like
Yeah.
repurposed and redesigned.
Right.
Just like real world structures.
It's fascinating.
Minecraft really sparks that sense of ingenuity,
Yeah,
problem solving.
for sure, even if it's all in a digital world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think those virtual igloos, though, do they accurately reflect the real world ones?
It's a good question. Minecraft definitely captures the basic shape
Yeah.
and the idea of an igloo as a shelter,
Yeah.
but it also simplifies things, you know? A lot in the
fair.
game, you have unlimited resources.
Okay.
You don't have to deal with, like, you know, the harsh realities of Arctic weather.
So it's more of a stylized interpretation
Yeah.
than like a completely accurate representation.
Right.
Still, I think it's awesome that the game, it exposes players to like different types of architecture,
Yeah.
cultures.
Yeah, for sure. That might make them curious, you know?
Right.
Encourage them to learn more about the real thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It goes back to that question,
Yeah.
can a video game teach us something about ingenuity?
I think so.
I think the answer is yes.
I'd agree.
A resounding yes.
Yeah.
We've seen how the Inuit people use their knowledge of their environment, their building skills, to create these shelters.
It's amazing.
And we've seen how Minecraft players,
Yeah.
they use those virtual igloos in all sorts of creative ways.
It's true.
It just highlights
Yeah.
that human ingenuity to adapt.
That desire to solve problems.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what.
Whether it's a virtual world or a real one.
Totally.
So, what do you say we move on to part 3?
Let's do it.
Explore the cultural significance of igloos.
Okay.
I'm curious about the challenges they face in a world with climate change.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, welcome back to our igloo deep dive.
Yeah.
We've gone from Minecraft to the Arctic.
It's been quite the journey.
And I have to say, like, I'm really starting to appreciate these structures, not just as shelters,
Right.
but as, like, symbols of human resilience,
Yeah.
But there's a deeper layer here.
Definitely.
What can you tell us about, like, the cultural significance
Yeah.
of igloos for the Inuit people?
Well, igloos are, like, deeply connected to Inuit identity.
Okay.
They represent that bond with the land,
Yeah.
a respect for nature, a
Yeah.
way of life that's been passed down through generations.
Makes sense.
And building an igloo, it's not a solo thing, right?
Right.
It's a communal effort.
Okay.
It takes knowledge, skill, and a lot of cooperation.
So each igloo is like a physical representation of their values, traditions.
Yeah.
But I can't help but think about the challenges they face now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
In a world that's changing so rapidly,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of impact is climate change having on igloo building?
It's a real threat, to be honest,
Oh.
to their traditions, their ways of life.
Yeah.
You know, things like unpredictable weather patterns,
Right.
falling permafrost,
Yeah.
the ice conditions changing.
Yeah.
It's all making it harder
Right.
to find suitable snow and ice for building.
That's really sad to hear.
Yeah, it is.
It's like their very landscape, right?
Uh-huh.
The thing that has sustained them for centuries.
It's so long.
It's becoming less reliable.
Yeah, it's a real concern.
So does that mean that, like, igloo building is disappearing?
It's complicated.
What?
While actually living year-round in an igloo, that's becoming less practical.
Yeah.
The cultural knowledge, the
Right.
skills, those are still so valuable. Communities are working hard to preserve those traditions.
So,
Workshops, educational programs.
oh, wow.
Some are even collaborating with architects, right? Yeah, to explore more modern versions of igloo designs.
So it's all about, like, balancing, honoring the past,
Yeah,
but also adapting to the present, right?
you got it.
Keeping traditions alive,
Uh-huh.
but acknowledging that things need to change.
Yeah, exactly.
Can games like Minecraft, though, play a role in that?
What do you mean?
Like, in raising awareness about these cultural changes and the
Yeah.
challenges that,
Oh, for sure.
communities like the Inuit are facing?
Absolutely. Games have this power, right?
Yeah.
to transport players to different worlds,
Yeah.
introduce them to new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And when games incorporate things like igloos,
Yeah.
they spark curiosity.
Yeah.
They encourage players to actually learn more about these different cultures.
Right. It's like building a virtual bridge
Yeah, exactly.
to understanding and empathy,
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe some of those Minecraft players will even be inspired to take action.
Right.
So preservation efforts.
Yeah.
Maybe contribute to solutions for climate change.
It's all possible.
That's pretty amazing.
It really is.
Okay, so we're wrapping up our deep dive into igloos.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
I think the biggest thing is to remember that, igloos,
Yeah.
they're so much more than just shelters. They're symbols
Yeah.
of human ingenuity, cultural resilience, and our deep connection to the environment. And we've seen it, right?
We have.
From the virtual world of Minecraft
Yeah.
to the changing Arctic.
Yeah.
The story of the igloo, it's still unfolding.
That's a good point.
It's a story of adaptation,
Yeah.
innovation,
Right.
and the importance of respecting that balance
Yeah.
between us
Yeah.
and nature.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well said. And to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
we encourage you,
Yeah.
keep exploring, keep learning,
Stay curious.
keep asking those questions.
For sure.
Whether you're building a virtual igloo in Minecraft or marveling at the ingenuity of the Inuit people,
Yeah.
there's always something new to discover out there.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today, and until next time.